Do you ever wonder what would happen if, well, if
you give a dad a podcast.
I'm what you call a nerdy fan. I nerd out at this stuff hardcore.
You'll hear me talk about anime on here. You'll hear me talk about Power Rangers. You'll hear me talk about wrestling on here.
Okay.
I had a axe handle with a Twisted Tea on it. It was right after that Twisted Tea video went viral. And man, they went out and grabbed it and smacked a dude in the head with it. It was so...
That's great. I'd like to think of this podcast as a nostalgia moment for me. It's a show where I can talk about whatever I want.
I'm a human and animal chiropractor. There was a picture of me. It looked like I was on the side of a ramen box over in China. But
So I took my kids with me to Comic-Con.
I thought that was really cool.
Well, I don't know if my wife should listen to this podcast.
We'll cut that part out.
You won't. Be like, and then Robert said this.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast. Available now on all podcasting platforms.
Did you ever wonder what could have been with the AWA had things gone differently? Had their fortunes gone differently? Had certain wrestlers not left and perhaps more money would have been at the disposal of the Gagnes? Well, wonder no further. You can go to Brad Drake's YouTube channel and experience the 1987 Supermod for yourself, as Brad Drake starts off in May 1987, along with Greg Gagne, Baron Von Raschke, Vern Gagne himself, Nick Bockwinkel, Larry Zbyszko, Kurt Hennig, and a slew of others as he plays and saves the AWA.
Hello everyone, this is Brian Ferguson, the host of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I want to tell you about a new podcast out called Falls Count Anywhere. It is a classic pro wrestling podcast that brings you the legends of wrestling with true wrestling fans Chris DiCarlo and Charlie Turner. They bring on guests that are legends in this business, and as well as wrestlers of today, promoters, referees, you name it. They have them on there, folks, and I encourage you to listen to them. If you're on YouTube, watch them. They drop every Saturday. They have their podcast, and they drop it in the afternoon. So look forward to that podcast coming out. Falls Count Anywhere podcast with Chris DiCarlo and Charlie Turner. Folks, you will not be disappointed. I guarantee it. And enjoy the podcast. Hey everyone, this is Brian Ferguson, the host of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. We are on here today because of you, viewers and watchers like you. In order to continue the podcast, we need to monetize our YouTube channel so we can get guests on that require financial compensation. That's where viewers like you come in. If you subscribe today, we can get that number up to 1,000. And as an incentive, the 1,000th subscriber will receive a free t-shirt just like this and receive a book from the legendary George Shire on his Minnesota Golden Age of Wrestling, from Vern Gagne to the Road Warriors, signed by George Shire himself. So please get on there, tell your friends to subscribe today, and when you hit that 1,000 mark, you're going to get a t-shirt like this. I'm going to reach out to you. You're going to be coming on the show as a guest and receive that book, The Minnesota's Golden Age of Wrestling, from Vern Gagne to the Road Warriors, signed by George Shire. So get on there today, subscribe, and please enjoy the podcast. Welcome to another edition of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I'm Brian Ferguson. My guest today was a star of the 1970s and 80s in the Central States, Florida, and Mid-South. He held the NWA Central States Heavyweight and Tag Team titles on numerous occasions, as well as the Southern Heavyweight title and Mid-South Single and Tag Team titles. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Mike George. Mike, thanks for coming on today.
Oh, thank you, Brian. I appreciate that very much.
You bet. And my pleasure. I'm glad you were able to come on today. I know you and Jerry Oates are good friends, and he said I could call you and get you on here, so I appreciate it, my friend.
Yeah, Jerry was one of the first ones I met. Was ended up being a real close friend, and a guy that told me one time I ought to quit and go home.
All right. Well, I'm glad you didn't. I'm sure a lot of people are. So let's talk a little bit about. Okay, so Mike, talk a little bit about where you're from and growing up and things like that, if you would, please.
Okay, I'm originally from St. Joseph, Missouri. Okay. That was the town that a lot of old time wrestlers came out of there. Gus Karras was the promoter up there, and that's where I got my start. I enjoyed it. I wrestled in high school, and I figured I could do it in pro. I saw a friend of mine, Ed Wiskoski, was trying to get in the business. Then he got in a real bad car accident. So I said, well, I can do that. I got a hold of him, got him back in the gym, got him working out, and we used to go work out each other. We'd we about kill each other. I gave him a good cauliflower ear. He gave me a knot on my top of my head, or on my forehead, that's still there.
Oh, wow. Did you go to college or anything after high school?
No, I started. It wasn't for me. Yeah. I tried. I was into weightlifting at that time. I was going to weightlifting competition for. This was when they had the the squat. The powerlifting, which was the standing press, the snatch, and the clean and jerk. That's what I got into doing to that. I went all over here. I was ranked 4th in the nation in Junior Olympic, which surprised me.
Wow, that's great. Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's talk about getting into the business. So you said you went up to in St. Joe there. Were you trained up there, and who were you trained by?
Yeah, I was trained up there. Basically, Ronnie Edson would work out with us. I had another guy. Forgive me, I can't remember his name. He was in the business. He was just a local guy up there, and Gus used him, but that was a long time ago. I talked him into it. He'd come up there and he'd work out with us. We had at the old auditorium, they had a mat set up, and him and me and whoever else I could find in there to go with me, we'd go in there and work out. And I'd say Sonny did too. Sonny Myers, but basically that was later on. We talked a lot when we rode and everything else, and ideas and how to carry yourself and everything else. And Roddy Edson was the most of it though, but I never smoked a cigar. He never smoked those cigars and drink his beer and eat the potato chips. Boy, that's what I remember about Ronnie the most.
Well, after you got done training, what territory did you head to first?
When I first started, I went to Atlanta. Jody Hamilton got me in there. Gus got a hold of them, and they sent me over there. I was there about 2 months. I was horrible. And that's when Jerry said you ought to quit. Then they sent me to Florida, and basically with the amateur background, I had a good time down there. We had a chance to work out at the Sportatorium down there at the old where we did TV at and everything else. And there's a bunch of us there, and all at one time we in there working out. And Matt Suda, he was the one that was like training us. Yeah. It was a good experience. I mean, it was hot down there in that place. Yeah. We used to go in there, they wouldn't turn nothing on. They just had one light for us in there, and the ring was set up, and we'd work out, we'd do the exercises, then we'd get in there and shoot. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Bob Orton Jr., that was about his time. He was down there too. All of it. There was a lot of us.
Yeah.
George McCrary. McCrary was another one that was was a classic. He was a hell of an amateur, but you couldn't tell by looking at his body.
I've heard some stories from other wrestlers about Hiro Matsuda and his training style. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about your experience with him?
Oh, it was vicious. I tell you, we'd be doing our jump squats, we'd be doing push-ups, we'd be doing all kinds of. Then we get down, and then we do the amateur wrestling, hit the ropes, just trying to get balance and just to see how far he'd make us go as far as we could go and almost throw up.
Yeah,
that was to get you in shape. That was the whole idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once your legs gave out in the ring, you weren't worth a darn. You had to be in shape. Had to be in shape.
Yeah. Now, I've been told that he did everything with you guys.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He was a hell of a wrestler. He really was.
Yeah.
I remember when he finally made it to the junior heavyweight champion. I wrestled him up here in St. Joe there. Just when he came through junior heavyweight, I had a chance at him. It was fun. Yeah. It was fun. It was like old home week. I should have done a bunch of jump squats right there, but I didn't.
So, I started, when I was doing a little research on you, Central States was where you kind of first took off from what I've read with...
yeah.
And you had a great tag team with Jim Brunzell. And
Jim Brunzell, it was like his first place he left. He came into here, and they put me and him together. We're both young, so
yeah.
And that was it. All of a sudden, we were against the champions. We were going against them all the time. It was Roger Kirby and Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yeah,
two great guys.
Yeah,
yeah. Kind of miss both of them.
Yeah, they're good.
Miss both of them.
Yeah. So
I worked with Kirby the most all over the place down here in Florida. Okay. Everything else, yeah.
So, working with Jim, your chemistry, what was that? I mean, it was pretty.
Oh, we got along great together.
Yeah.
There was no problems.
That's good.
I never really had any problem with any of them, really.
Yeah.
Any of my partners. I went through a few of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then I come back to I left or whatever else happened. Then I come back home, and all of a sudden it was Jerry Oates.
Yeah.
But even when his brother was here,
yeah.
Ted.
Yeah.
I wrestled with all of them. I wrestled Jerry many, many times.
Yeah.
And same way with Ted. Brunzell, we never had matches together.
Okay.
Never did. We were always singled out.
Yeah. Working with Jerry, I bet you that was pretty fun.
Yeah, he always had energy.
Yeah.
Always had energy, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I enjoyed about him.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd beat each other up and just laugh and giggle at it as we did it.
Yeah.
He said, "Who really taught you?" I said, "Nobody." He said, "I can believe it."
Yeah. Did you ever have the opportunity to go to Japan?
I went 5 different times. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that a whole bunch.
Yeah.
Really, that was the crowning deal of my deal. I got to go there, see different places.
Mm-hmm.
I'd give anything to go there again.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed the wrestling because it was all, you name it. Those guys they were in shape.
Mm-hmm.
They were in shape. I mean, they were constantly, and those young boys, the old timers would get on them, and boy, they'd make them do stuff that was just, you served your apprenticeship in there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a good experience. I think I went for every one of the companies over there.
Okay.
I enjoyed that.
Okay. I was going to ask you, who was probably your over there in Japan? They always say it's different over there. They've got a lot more, I don't know, wrestling
I don't know how to say it, but they say it's better over there. So opponent
Yeah, it is
wise,
better.
who was one of your favorite opponents while you were over there that you just had the chemistry with in Japan?
I had a couple of them basically with the all Japan wrestler. Forgive me, I cannot remember the game. The main one, the older guy. He was a sumo. All of them were sumos, though.
Yeah.
And then there was the one from Korea too. He didn't speak much English, but he was a stout old man.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to call him old man either. That's for dang sure. And he could. All of them are in good shape. All of them had legs on them that wouldn't quit because they were in good shape. All of them.
Yeah.
That was one of the main deals. They always were doing their squats and jump squats and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And they're always working out. Yeah, it was a place that you couldn't find too many gyms to go over there to.
Yeah.
I had to bribe them basically. Find me a gym so I could go work out. Yeah. And I'd go do that when we were on the road away from down in downtown Tokyo. There was another gym we used to go there all the time. But that was another story though on that one.
Yeah.
That was about my last tour of working out over there with that's when the Animal and Hawk were over there too.
Okay.
And that's when I went over there. That's my last tour. Okay. And that's when Hawk he looked at me. He says, "If I look as good as you do, and when I'm your age," he says, "I'll be happy." And he didn't make it.
No,
he didn't make it.
Unfortunately,
yeah, too bad. But that was kind of a compliment, though.
Yes, you were. I mean, you back in your day, you were a very stout guy.
Yeah.
And I remember you. I mean, I was a little kid, but I remember seeing you on TV, and I was always kind of surprised, really, that you didn't get. I mean, you got pushed, but I mean, I feel like you didn't get the push you really deserved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, the problem with that is I couldn't tell a lot of stories. You know, I wasn't the one behind the mic. I wasn't good at that. I could get in the ring and perform and do my job and do things the other guys couldn't do, but it just that the talking to me was the hardest part. It still is.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I guess they could have. I mean, there's guys that have been, world champions that they have a manager. They do all the lip service.
Yeah.
But I was always kind of surprised that because you're built so well, you have the look, you have the ability, obviously, in the ring, and I've always felt that you and also Jerry I really didn't think you guys got the push you all deserved.
No, we were at the end of the era when the things were changing.
Yeah.
And the guys that could talk on the tube, that's the ones that got the push. Their work sucked.
Yeah, I won't disagree.
You won't disagree there, will you? Now, their work sucked. They couldn't do stuff but top wrist lock to an arm bar. They wouldn't know what you're talking about. All they could get within there was punch, kick. They didn't know anything. Takedown. They didn't know how to take guys down right, how to do stuff.
Yeah.
And, but at least I knew. Guys now are still afraid of me at work.
Yeah, I'm sure they are. If you're pretty stout,
yeah, because they know they've seen what I can do to people that cause problem where I'm at. I work security at 7th Street Casino downtown, and basically, if there's a problem, I was always right in there. I'm the one would help finish the thing off, though. And sometimes the manager get involved. He get too close, he get hooked too. Yeah. Jerry, I remember one time on Jerry, we were working out. We were on TV, and Watts had said, "Well, let's show some of your workouts too when your guys are in the arena just before you get ready to go in there." Oh, Jerry said, "Okay, no problem." So I was the goat. I was the goat. He he did a couple of things. Then one time he got sat on my back up there, and I was doing push-ups with him sitting on my back. And I said, "What am I doing?" I said, "What am I doing?" He just laughed, sat up there like it was nothing.
Yeah. Wow.
He wasn't doing the work. I was.
You were doing all the work. Yeah. Yeah.
I was doing the push-ups.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You worked a lot in the NWA. Did you ever work with WWF or the AWA?
The AWA, yes. The
Okay.
WWF deal, no. That wasn't my deal.
Mm-hmm.
I did one night basically for WWF. I got a call. We did matches in for Geigel here. We went to the penitentiary at Leavenworth. We worked there that day, and I got home. I got a call from I want to say who was Grizzly Smith. He was working for WWF, and they needed somebody in one of the spot shows they were going on, and wouldn't know if I'd be able to go. And well, I went ahead and went. I went up there, and that's the only time I worked with the WWF.
Okay.
One time only. I didn't really care. It just, to me, it was different. And I worked with Grizzly's boy, not Jake, but Michael.
Yeah, Sam Houston. Yeah.
Yeah, I worked with Sam Houston. That was the one I worked with. I enjoyed the kid. I remember when he was still down there in Louisiana, and we'd ask questions and everything else. Big, tall kid. Yeah, he was a good kid too.
Yeah.
I never had any problems with anybody, really.
That's
now,
good.
you know, even all the traveling and all the people with different things, never really had one. I had one that tested me pretty good. It was Hercules Hernandez. He's pretty strong.
Yeah, he was.
But that was just his style.
Yeah.
He was just stout. And they always put me with him, seemed like, around here.
Well, two stout guys, right?
Yeah. I liked it that way, though. I'd rather have it that way than one of those guys that were loose as, I didn't like that. No. My stuff was, you couldn't doubt what I was doing.
Yeah.
I never doubted it, and neither my opponent. He never doubted it either.
Yeah, I bet not. So, working for the AWA a little bit, how was that for you? Because I know it's more up north and working in probably parts of Canada.
It wasn't bad. It was cold. I remember went up there one time. My God, drove all the way up there in the snowstorm and all that. They still had people in the houses, but this was getting close to their end. I worked with him. I did up there. I did his last match was Wahoo McDaniels. I did it on TV with him. We went through. That was his last match up there. Yeah, I enjoyed. I respected that man. I really did. I respected most all of the old timers. Yeah, Luthez, my God, what a hell of an animal he was in his time, and still was. I was in Springfield, Missouri, and they put him against me there when I was down for Leroy McGurk in the territory. Okay. And I said, whatever. I told the people, I said, whatever you do, don't call him old man. Oh my God! Payback hell.
Oh, so let me ask you this, Mike. Out of all the promotions you worked for during the territory era, what was probably one of your favorites that you really enjoyed and got a lot out of?
Louisiana. When Bill Watts is down there from Shreveport down that lower part of it. Yeah. And the upper part in Midwest, you might say, for Leroy up here, when they split up, I'd say I enjoyed more down in the South. The people were very responsive. They were just, you might be hated by them, but they respected you down there.
Yeah.
They respected you.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably Carolinas I could care less about.
Okay.
I walked out of that place 2 different times. I just didn't like it.
Yeah.
Just something about there was like clicks, and that wasn't me. It just forgive me, they may have their superstars over there, but I guess I'm not going to mention any names, but
Right.
it's just I wasn't happy there. Basically, I tried and I said no. I said I'm going home. Just find somebody else to go out there on that. I'm going home. And that's when I quit for a while. Well, basically, that was about pretty close to my end. I just started selling cars then.
There you go.
But I still worked for Geigel off and on. You can always call Geigel up and say, Geigel, can I come in? He said, yeah, come on. Boom, I'll be there. Be working the next day. You know?
Oh, wow. That's great. That's good
Yeah,
to have a good rapport like that.
Yeah, I always looked at him as almost as my dad, basically.
Yeah.
You know, he was about the same age as my dad.
Okay, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty neat. Yeah. I want to talk to you a little bit, chemistry-wise. Who do you think, as an opponent, with you were up against, you had the best matches that you can recall? That's a tough one. Sorry.
Well, I wrestled with Bob Brown. God, I don't know how many times.
Okay.
But even one time he was the bad. He was the good guy, and I was the bad guy, and they were more for him than they were me. I had an old man hit me in Columbia, and then I had another one tried to hit me in Topeka, Kansas.
Oh, wow.
They were classics, but they were more. It's just it's hard to say, really.
Yeah.
I had a lot of good rapport with God, my mind just went blank. Boom. No, I can't remember right now.
That's all
Sorry
right.
about that.
That's okay, no problem.
When you're 74 years old, you go on one deal and all of a sudden it goes blank.
No problem. I want to ask you just a couple more things. One is, you turned heel one time that I saw in your career. What was that comfortable for you? Because you're usually a baby face.
Oh yeah, that was an experience that was in down there in Louisiana. That was with Jerry Stubbs.
Yeah.
And this is when they told me, when you come out of that ring, if the people go completely quiet, you've done your job. Mm-hmm. You've done real well. That's called the white heat. Mm-hmm. That's the one where they're not screaming, hollering, they're just sitting looking at you, and they're saying all kinds of things under their breath. You can hear them as you walk by, very quiet. And boy, that was the scary part. Yeah, they told me, he says, whenever you leave, don't stop and don't talk to them, don't look at them. Just do a nice slow walk out of there.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was great with that. They just went completely quiet.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
Jody Hamilton told me what to do. He says, whatever you do, do not stop.
Yeah.
And I believe that but that was the best deal. I have enjoyed the dark side.
Yeah.
That's kind of second nature, I guess, with me. I always have been.
Yeah.
But it was the best time of my life right there.
Oh, okay.
And I wrestled some of the best guys around. That's when Tommy Rich come in over there down there. We were in Biloxi. He'd be coming over. They come in there, and then I had Wahoo come in, and quite a few of them from Atlanta were coming over there to Biloxi. But it was good. It was good. Yeah. It was enjoyable.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I remember reading about it, and I watched it on YouTube, and I just always remembered you as a baby face. So when I was looking stuff up, I was just like, I don't remember him, but then you did, boy, and I was like, whoa, okay. Yeah.
I made money when I went down there and I turned babyface. You might as well say with the Junkyard Dog.
Yeah.
That was another experience that was interesting couldn't do no wrong, boy. You were with him as a partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss him too.
Yeah, New Orleans come in there and you'd hear them stomping their feet and clapping, and I just stood there before we went in the ring that night and just I was simply amazed at the response.
Yeah.
He was over like big time.
Oh yeah.
And I was glad I was there on his side.
Yeah. Right. Can you give us a good traveling story with you in the car with somebody that just sticks out in your mind?
Oh, I got one. We were coming back out of Wichita, Kansas. Jim Brunzell and me are in the car, and we're coming back up toward Kansas City, and we were drinking our beer like we always did. That's just normal deal.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, a car come up on me pretty fast. I was in my little Datsun Z I had at the time, and this great big car come up behind me real quick, and all of a sudden the light came on and started flashing. I said, "Oh no, here we go." Well, I pulled over, and then the car pulled up beside me, and there's Bob Brown and Geigel just laughing himself halfway. Just had a heck of a time. They enjoyed that. I got another one even better than that though.
Let's hear it.
Geigel used to travel with a shotgun in his car. Okay. He'd have it in the back seat. Well, he had it in his back seat one day, and he had Bob Brown was riding in the back, and my second wife, Shirley Black, she was in the front seat, and they were talking, and Geigel's driving, and Brown's in the back seat. He's piddly farting around back there, and he's messing with that gun. And Geigel tells him, "Leave it alone." Well, out of a sudden, he had that thing in his hand and blew a hole in the floorboard of the car. Geigel said he just couldn't believe he did that. But yeah, Bob Brown, he was blew a hole right in there. My Lord, the whole, you can imagine how it wasn't a tight spot in Geigel's Cadillac. Boom, boy.
That's great. That's a good one.
They were a character together, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Brown used to, when we were working at the last before he passed away and stuff, he was security out there at the Woodlands, so dog track, horse track there, and it was, he'd start fights, you might say, be instigator. And then when it came time to really the nut and all the stuff going off, he'd just stand back and we'd have to take care of it. And then afterwards, he'd be around there picking up the glasses and the pens and the radios that fell off. He'd pick those up. He never got involved in any of it, but he let us go do it.
He let you just finish it up. I'll clean up the mess.
No, he just pick it up afterwards. We used to chew him out for that all the time.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, yes, you retired from the ring in 91, I believe.
Yeah.
And so, here, what are you up to lately? You got anything going on, or you just?
Yeah, I'm still working. I'm working security. I spent 19 years at the Woodlands that it closed down.
Okay. And
then when my boss went up and started working for the 7th Street Casino there from the Wichita, or not Wichita, from down in Oklahoma area. They opened up a casino up there, and that he went there, and I said, all of a sudden, I was call him up, and he said, "Yep, you can have a job. Come on back." So I was right there. I've been there 13 years now.
Well, good for you.
Yeah, I enjoy it. It gives. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I got a house with 3 bedrooms. I kind of pick where I'm going to sleep at one night, and then boom, boom. And I'm single. I've been single for quite a few years now.
Yeah.
But that's all right. But it gives me something to do.
Yeah.
My dad's still alive, so I spend some time with him. Try to. He's 96 years old, going strong as all get out.
Wow, that's great.
Now, if I get his genes, I'm going to be in serious trouble.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you.
Still driving, doing all kinds of stuff.
Oh, wow, that's.
But
great.
I have no life. I still try to go to the gym, work out, and do that stuff though. But
Yeah.
nothing serious like it used to be.
Well, yeah.
But still try.
Well, good.
Still try.
Well, Mike, I want to thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it, sir. I've enjoyed it. You know, it's an honor and pleasure. And like I said in the beginning of the program, I really think you are underappreciated, and you really paved the way for the guys of today. So thank you very much.
Yeah, the longevity for the guys now. I feel sorry for them doing all that stuff because all they're doing is just slowly deteriorating their body.
Yeah.
I've already had a hip replaced and knees are killing me and one shoulder. But you got to be careful what you do because it does get you.
Yeah.
People may say all what they want to about it, but it's real.
Yeah, it is. It's real. So, well, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mike George. Thanks for coming on, sir. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate you calling me.
All right.
Take care of yourself.
You too. And folks, if you're listening, thank you and subscribe.